Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Susan, I'm a mixed media artist and I come from Inverness in Scotland. So if you're interested in mixed media art, in today's lesson I'll be sharing part 4 of a series working in my handmade journal. So I'll be showing you tips on how to jelly print onto Gumstrip. So you can use these to bind pages together if you want to add more pages into your journal. I've also got a stash of these tea bags and I thought, how can I use these? So I've tried a couple of different ways of using them in the video, and I'll share how I sort of pull it all together and make a composition on one page at the end of the video. So there's quite a lot in today's video, so I hope you'll enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get started. I've got a few different things I'd like to share with you today. So if you see here, I've got these little tea bags that I've washed and dried, and I've got that lovely aged feel about them, which it kind of works well with this handmade journal because I've gone for a sort of vintage feel. Now you can draw really delicate and paint onto these. You can use the transfers like I've done here to incorporate them. So these are really versatile, and I think they work well in collage. So I'm going to work on a few of those. I've also got something called Gumstrip. If you've never heard of that, what you do with that is its primary purpose is for stretching watercolor paper so that you don't get the paper doesn't buckle once it's stretched. But I'm going to use it for binding pages together and also for collage. So I don't really want to just stick down pieces of it, you know, like this. It's not really that pretty or doesn't go with the book that well. So what I thought I could do is create some backgrounds. So one side of it is matte, so you can paint on top of it or print on top of it, and the other side is shiny, so when you add water to that it becomes sticky. So be careful not to get any water near the roll, because that's it ruined after that. So I've got a few of these prepared already. I've just used a roller for these to add paint to them, and I tried jelly printing onto them and then cutting them into thinner strips so that I could use them to bind pages. So I'll show you a way to jelly print onto them and a way to roll the paint, and that'll give you some ideas. And then to store them, all I'm doing is using, this is a old roll from Christmas wrapping paper. It was quite a nice thin one, so I just chopped that into pieces, and so I'm just using a piece of masking tape just to secure it before I roll that round to store it. So that'll give you. Okay, so I'm going to start off by showing how I added these transfers to these papers. So I've got them. I'm just going to rip off a piece there. Okay, so I think I'm just going to tape this down first so that it doesn't move about. And I'm going to cut design, leaf shape here, I think. Okay, and then you just peel the back off and just stick it on top. This tool is called a bone folder, so it's quite handy for making sure the edge of paper is nice and sharp if you're bookbinding, but it's useful for a few different things. I'm just going to peel the top, see if it's stuck. A bit more up there. Okay, and for this one what I did was I rolled a very thin layer of paint over the top to give it a sort of softer look. So you can do that if it looks too much like a sticker, just to sort of soften it a wee bit. But these are lovely to have in your stash for projects like this. I can just pop that one back on there, and I've got that one for another page. Okay, and then I'll show you on one of these. It's really pretty. That little white flower will go nice somewhere. Single piece here. Sticks quite easily to the tissue paper. So as you've got another one ready for, you can cut that smaller and just use a tiny piece of it, or add another piece here. You can add more drawing to that. So I'm going to try and do some drawing on one of these to see how it works. Okay, so I've just stuck that onto a piece of card so that I can move it around more easily without it. And I'm just using the stickers. I've printed them onto paper so I can use them for reference for leaf shapes. So I'm just trying to sketch this one here. I like this because they're all going in different directions. Look a bit boring if you just have a leaf that they're all going the same way. If you want it to show up more, you can go over that with a fine line pen. You could even paint it. think I'm going to try adding some paint, see what happens. I've got a watercolour set here. It's called Milang, which I quite like. It's quite strong pigment. You want the green to be a little more muted, you just add a touch of red to it. Get the right kind of green I want here. That pen is permanent, so it's not going to run. It's a Unipin water and fade proof permanent ink, so if you be careful which type of pen you're using if you're going to mix it with watercolours. I like the fact that you can see the writing coming through it. Quite nice. Okay, so I've got my 7x5 Gelli plate and I've cut some strips so they're all slightly longer than the length of the book, so I can use them to add more pages or I can use them for collage, so they'll have different purposes. So I'll just show you a couple of ways to print them. So I've got the stencil here that was actually sent to me from Germany from one of my students, a really lovely girl, and I can't remember her name. I've tried to look back at my emails, but I really love this stencil and I do appreciate her sending me that. Okay, so let me have a look here. So I'm just wanting to do sort of similar colours that are in the book and just keep these quite light so that, you know, they're not going to just overwhelm the page. They'll just kind of disappear into the background. So I'm going to start with this kind of buff colour. Just placing, so it's the matte side you want to stick down. So you get that sort of shape there. Start at the top. Try and cover the whole piece there. going to put a slightly different colour on top, maybe some gold. Quite subtle. Something more of an umber. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of white now. So I've got a spare bit of paint on the roller, so you can just roll directly onto the paper as well with the roller. If you just wanted some paint colour to work on top of or draw on top of them. So that's another way to do it. You just want a very simple piece there. Let's take that off. So it's building up some lovely layers there for your pieces. Okay, so that's how you print onto this, and as I say, you can, once it's dried, you can store it by taping it onto one of these, and you can have that to add as to bind your pages together, or to use sections of it for collage. So if it went too fast there, the order of the paint there was buff titanium, and then I used gold, iridescent gold, and I used raw umber, which is a semi-transparent, and then I finished off using a heavy body titanium white, which is more opaque. So that's the four colours I used to create this effect, just with one stencil. So this was hand cut on one of those circuit cutters, I think. You can do your own designs. I've never tried that, but I really like this design. I would like to try that. Okay, so I'm going to finish this page, and I think what I would like to do is roll a little bit of paint underneath here first. Okay. Just gonna give that a dry off first. Okay, so I forgot to switch on the camera, but what I've just done in this page here was glued on some paper on top of that text, because I just felt like I wanted another area that's got paint on, but just text roughly coming through. This paper is kind of a very absorbent paper, and it buckled quite badly, so I decided to hair dry it and then use the iron to smooth it out, but I didn't realise it was quite so absorbent, and what's happened is it's stuck to the page beneath it. So a way to stop doing that is just to use a piece of greaseproof paper, and that would have protected that page there. So, but this is collage. I can work on top of it. It's not an issue. It's just one of these things that happens when you're working, especially if you're not letting things dry properly. So there's always solutions and ways around things. So I'm going to add another little bit of paint here. So I want the text to be visible, but not so you can read it, so you know it's there. But okay, so I'm going to try and put a composition together on here. So I quite like that. Piece of paper there. So I've got a couple of these drawings I've done, so I think I prefer the one with a softer, finer pen. So I'm going to use that one. This piece of fabric, I just like these bits coming off, so I'm going to make it more ragged. It needs more text. A bit under here. Not sure about that area there. It's working or not. Maybe this one. Maybe that red balances better. We need a touch of something red down here now. maybe just a little stitch or something here for these two papers. Orange. Yeah, I think that's the right colour. Okay, now I want to take a picture of it this time before I glue it all down. Okay, so I'm going to put a little stitch just across here. Okay, so I've glued that one flat against the background, and I'm actually, when I'm looking at the photograph, I think I prefer it when it's kind of crumply off the edge. So I'm just going to use my glue stick for the rest of them. So I've got my photo on my iPad so I can see the placement of the pieces before I stick them down. Okay, now this one has got the gum strip on the back, so what I'm going to do is just paint the back of it with some water to activate the glue. Oh, I'm going to put that down first. Okay, and then this piece, and then I've got the piece that I stitched here, so I just want that to go. Yeah, I like the softness of it, just the edges, prefer it to the being completely stuck down there. Okay, quite like that composition. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and you picked up some good tips and tricks along the way. If you did enjoy it, if you could hit the like and subscribe and perhaps leave a comment, that will help enormously with the algorithm. So that means I can keep making videos and send them out to you. Okay folks, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.